What up, you two? What's going on, everybody? Been a few days. It's so much going on. So today is the No Kings protest. I don't know. It's not going to change anything because half of America voted for what's going on. So, but you got the freedom of speech and you got the freedom to assimilate. You got the freedom to express your views. We all do. So that's a good thing right there, right? Right. But we're going to finish up our redistricting today. Shout out to my new subscribers. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. But let's check on the latest of this redistricting stuff because it's a lot going on and it's important when it comes down to elections. So let's see what we got. Man, I didn't want to see no because I got enough videos to show. Let me see. We do. New details emerged in a federal court about Texas secretive redistricting map. This is, and this is El Paso. The Texas Senate Redistrict Committee chair repeatedly told Democratic lawmakers this summer he didn't know who drew the state's new congressional map, while Texas House members held public hearings to gather feedback on the map. Republicans hadn't released yet and provided no details about. Oh, this look like it's heating up. In federal court on Thursday, information about the secretive process started to come into focus as Republican leadership filled in some of the blanks. Texas Republicans passed the new map in a rush redistricting process, refusing to answer basic questions from Democratic lawmakers and the public, such as who drew the map and when it would be released. Minority voters and voting advocates are asking a federal court to block the state from using the new map in the 2026 election, saying it's a racial gerrymander that discriminates against minority Texans. State attorneys are defending the map, arguing it was drawn only for partisan gain. State Senator Phil Ken, who led the Senate's redistricting committee, began his testimony Tuesday, but due to scheduling conflicts, he returned Thursday for more questioning. In between King's Day in court, the judges heard testimony for State Senator Adam Hidosky and Adam Kincaid, who drew the new Texas map and serves as director of the National Republican Redistricting Trust. Kincaid revealed Tuesday he was hired by the Republican National Committee (RNC) to draw the Texas map. By the time King returned to the stand, some inconsistencies had appeared. One of the few insights into the state's new map came when King previously testified he ran into Kincaid at a conference in mid-July and said he told Kincaid not to tell him anything about the map. Later in Kincaid's telling, King did in fact ask him about the map. He asked Kincaid whether the GOP could really pick up 5 seats in Congress, and Kincaid testified yes. It turned out they weren't the only ones talking about the map. And Joseph testified too and was part of the conversation with King and Kincaid, but when asked what they discussed, he wouldn't answer, claiming the information was privileged. When King was asked Thursday if anyone else was part of the conversation, he said Kincaid. There might have been someone else, and when pressed about Kincaid's claim, King asked about picking up seats. It's either incorrect or I'm recalling it incorrectly. Attorneys for plaintiffs showed the court video clips from the legislative special meetings of House and state Republicans evading questions. State Rep. Todd Hunter, the author of the redistricting bill, wasn't on the state's list of witnesses, But in a video clip on August 1st, he told Democrats that Kincaid wasn't the map drawer. In another clip, King told Democrats after he met with Kincaid he didn't know who drew the map. In the third clip, Representative Cody Voss, the House Redistricting Committee chair, was asked at a July 26 hearing, where the map had been provided. He said no. Kincaid testified this week he sent the map to Texas legislature 3 days before the hearing. King's evasive answers Thursday appeared to frustrate attorneys and the U.S. Circuit Judge Jerry Smith, one of the three judges hearing the case, jumped in during questions to demand Kincaid to answer the questions yes or no. So the battle continues in Texas. Wow. Oh, shit. So, oh, shit. What happened here? Oh, no, this is wrong. How did I end up like that? Oh, there we go. States are redistricting to help one party, but sometimes the move can backfire. Now, this Nebraska, as states consider redistricting their congressional district maps to favor one political party, some politicians warn that attempts to gerrymander can devolve in dummy mandering when partisan goals end up helping the opposing party in neighboring districts. Pushed initially by President Trump, state legislators across the country are discussing and at times agreeing to change boundaries in hopes of helping members of their party and ultimately deciding control of the U.S. House in 2026. Trying to win more seats comes with a risk because in order to win more seats, they have to draw districts more competitively, said University of Texas Dallas political science professor. Ooh, that's a lot, Thomas Burrell. Republicans could try redistricting Nebraska. U.S. House districts are typically redrawn once a decade. Nebraska is among a number of states being targeted for mid-decade redrawing of congressional district lines, with the head of the NRC, National Republican Redistricting Trust, last week naming Nebraska among the top candidates for change. Republican Jim Pillen said he supports the idea. Wow, so now we got Missouri. Last month, Republican led Missouri adopted revised districts aimed at helping GOP win another seat. North Carolina legislator leaders also have announced plans to vote next week on redrawing its seats. So this going around the country. Redistricting remains under consideration for Indiana and Kansas, where Republican lawmakers are gathering petition signatures from colleagues. The effort could backfire. Some Republicans remain hesitant, partly because of the concerns that mid-decade redistricting could backfire to make Democratic-leaning districts more favorable to Republicans. Map draws will have to shift some Democratic areas into districts currently held by Republicans. And in South Carolina, Republican leaders worry that withdrawing its seven U.S. House districts could be dangerous in a state where the GOP hovers at about 55% in competitive elections. Kansas has already attempted to make the state's four districts an all GOP political delegation when it withdrew the lines in 2022 to weaken a Democratic stronghold. Trump's push to withdraw max comes as his administration's policies face skepticism among many voters. It's tougher in states like Nebraska or Kansas, she said. You have fewer lines, you're not going to be able to put them as far or reach whatever, creating opportunities elsewhere. Even in Texas, Republicans say the efforts are dummy mandatory after they aggressively drew political lines in 2010 that helped pad the GOP's House majority. That lasted until 2018 when a backlash against Trump in his first term led Democrats to flip two seats that Republicans thought were safe. Republicans in states including Texas and Missouri came around to support redistricting. This could happen in Nebraska too. Wow. Currently, Nebraska and Maine allow presidential electoral votes to be split by the congressional district. Wow, we got a lot going on. This is gonna be interesting. But here go New York City. She is out cold. I can't stand this lady.
Selling out for money and power, which are right at the top. She's also playing this race card, but trying to do it on the sublime because the Haitian diaspora will welcome the immigrants with open arms. And I would like. He came off like a real flambeau. I gotta pick up a bath after this. We have a Democrat representative, Yvette out of New York. Once again,
this is popping politics.
Here as she can. What role do you believe members of the Haitian American diaspora here can and should play in assisting the effort to stabilize and rebuild Haiti? I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that, the doors of the inn being closed. No room yet. And I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here. Wow.
That's all cold.
So I want to get your thoughts on this, Nicole. So she was speaking, I believe, to the ambassador to Haiti. He's talking about all this crap going over in Haiti. She's saying, bring these people, these Haitians here, and and you can bring them to her district in New York because they're redistricting, and I guess she believes that these people will vote for her. I think it's unconscionable, politically and culturally. The temporary protected status of Haitians is going to expire, I think, by the end of the year, maybe February. That means all of the Haitians that came here using that CBP1 app that automatically got temporary protected status, TPS as we call it here in the United States, has to either earn another type of immigration status or self-deport.
Facts.
I mean, we've got a very large population of them on the Eastern Shore. They were brought there. There's factory work. I think they thought that it would be okay. There's water, that kind of thing, similar to where they came from. The problem is they don't assimilate. They do not assimilate. So she wants these people to be moved to her district for two reasons. One, power. Number two, money. What she's saying is, if I have more people in this district, then when they do redistricting, I'll get more power. We'll get more money. And her assumption is that these Black people will vote for her, one, because she too is Black, and number two, because they should be grateful. We rolled out the carpet for them. We are going to be accepting of them. That is absolutely wrong. She's selling her constituents, especially in Brooklyn. She's selling her constituents right down the river. There's no qualms about saying it. No qualms whatsoever. Absolutely. And then you have the ambassador responds to her and said, yeah, and let them take up all your jobs. This is clip 4. I bet in your district you don't have enough truck drivers, you don't have enough roofers, you don't have enough service people at the hotels, and so there is demand that the Haitian diaspora will welcome the immigrants with open arms, and I would like to see them continue to involve themselves in the political process in Port-au-Prince, because I think they bring a lot to the table, given the fact that they have settled in societies that aren't run by impunity-driven politicians. Thank you. He came on like a real flambeau. I got
He sure did.
after this. Yeah, not only is she selling out for money and power, which are right at the top, she's also playing this race card, but trying to do it on the sublime, because the Haitians will be dark skinned or brown, as they call it, whatever they call it, black and brown people. And then you're right, the money plays a part. Not only that, she's telling actual Americans that, hey, of the diaspora. I'm so sick of that damn word diaspora. I mean, I'm sick of that. That's another overused word. That's Haiti. Stay in Haiti. At least if they want to be here legally, stay your ass in Haiti. We don't need you in New York or anywhere else. And this woman, an American soil, so they can be counted, and she gets the money to keep her in office. And
right. Facts.
And get nothing for it. If your district was a great place, will you do that? Yeah.
That part.
Yana, I mean, what did you think of that exchange there? And you heard what Shelley said. Is Shelley being too harsh by saying the Haitians who want to stay in their butthole countries want to come here for a better life should be kept out? I mean, any immigrant needs to be vetted, regardless of where they're coming from, regardless of tree that they're coming from. So Haitians, just see how if they don't assimilate, then maybe we.
And they're not trying to assimilate.
Who was that guy? The ambassador? Yeah.
That's the problem, not assimilating.
Why does he look like that?
But that's the problem, not assimilating. And you wanted to open up your districts to illegals. Now, I do think what's going on in Haiti, that they do have a right to seek asylum. They definitely do, but do it the right way. Going back to Texas.
This is State Representative James Tallarico from Texas. If you're seeing this video, my Democratic colleagues and I have just left our beloved state to break quorum and stop Trump's redistricting power grab. Trump told our Republican colleagues to redraw the political maps here in Texas in the middle of the decade to get him more seats and protect his majority in Congress. They're turning our districts into crazy shapes to guarantee the outcome they want in the 2020 elections. If this power grab succeeds, they will have on power without any accountability from the Democrats are fighting back. We're leaving the state, breaking quorum.
And that's how you fight back, by leaving the state, instead of just voting no, that you was going to lose anyway. That was the dumbest shit I have ever seen. You ran away from your duties. You told the majority was going to lose anyway. That.
Our top story: in a stunning move to block a Republican-led redistricting vote, Texas House Democrats have left the state. More than 51 Democrats from the Texas House of Representatives quietly flew to Chicago this afternoon, breaking quorum and effectively halting tomorrow's vote on new congressional maps. The GOP plan, urged by President Trump, could add 5 Republican seats in 2026. State Representative Jean Wu, the chair of the Texas House Democratic Caucus, said, quote, "We are leaving Texas to fight for Texans. We will not allow disaster relief to be held hostage to a Trump gerrymander. We're not walking out on our responsibilities. We're walking out on a rigged system that refuses to listen to the people we represent." As of today, this corrupt special session is over. State Representative Josie Garcia, who represents the far west side of San Antonio, sent us this video from the plane.
What's happening here is the erasure of 4 seats that represent Black and Latino communities. Of 5 seats that are represented by the Black community, 3 of those are at risk of being taken away. We have to face the facts. What's happening here in Texas is going to spread across the nation.
So without at least...
But it's okay to run away. You was going to lose anyway. Just vote no. Vote no. That's all you had to do. And you did and lost. You was going to lose anyway. That's the thing. But you run away from your responsibility like that was cute. That shit was crazy to me.
The Attorney General now says that Beto O'Rourke, he is breaking the laws by illegally raising money for the Democrats who left the state. Now, as you know, those Texas House Democrats, they left the state in order to block Texas House Republicans from voting on and passing new district maps that would give the GOP
And they left the state, they get paid $770 a month, and then you want to raise money for their expenses. Is that not the craziest shit you ever heard of?
Drama kids hiding out in Illinois.
And you mentioned President Trump. He was responding to this and is threatening getting the FBI to possibly locate and return the runaway Dems. Listen here.
In a certain way, it almost looks like they've abandoned the state. It looks very bad. Yeah, go ahead.
It does.
Should the FBI get involved? Should the FBI get involved?
Well, they may have to. No, I know they want them back. Not only the Attorney General, the governor wants them back. You can't just sit it out. You have to go back. You have to fight it out. That's what elections are all about.
So the question now, Hugh, is what can actually be done about these Democrats?
Governor Abbott has appealed to the Texas Supreme Court to declare one of the seats of one of the Democrats vacant, that they abandoned their job. So if that court rules on that, they'll do it again and again and again for Texas Democrats. More importantly, though, as I listened last night to Lieutenant Governor explain, they have built redistricting before this special session of the legislature. It's only been a month and a couple of days since the Mystic Camp disaster, the hill country of Texas destroyed in large part. They need to get people back into the legislature so they can pass the relief bill for those people whose lives were destroyed by those floods.
Facts. Which they did pass that part. And they passed the redistricting. But it's in court, as I read earlier. I wonder why that's not playing. I wonder why. Let me see.
Democrats must return to the Lone Star State today or face serious consequences after they fled to boycott the redistricting vote. But some Democrats say they won't budge.
I will not return to Texas by tomorrow. This is much bigger than Texas. It's not an abdication.
Put that helper in handcuffs. It's the in
Facts. This is okay,
cuffs.
Ricky.
Yeah, put that. She already put herself out there. Yeah, go on. Just put this helper in handcuffs and everybody else. I tell you, what a disgrace is going on in Texas.
Of the job, who's abdicated their job is Governor Abbott, who has put mid-decade redistricting ahead of the flood victims. We do not have a filibuster. We have the quorum break, and that's the tool that we're using. So it's totally legitimate.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton joins us now. AG Paxton, will we see Texas Democrat lawmakers in handcuffs by the end of today?
I don't know. We're definitely waiting to see if they show up. We get, Dustin Burrows, our speaker, has given them a deadline of showing up today. They show up today?
Well, they didn't show up, but they did have to pay fines up to $15,000, and they lost pay. But I don't know how you living off $770 a month anyway. That can't be your only source of income. Okay, gotta delete that.
The Texas House has once again failed to reach quorum today, further delaying a vote on redistricting. Hello, and thank you for joining us this afternoon.
And this happened multiple
and
times. I'm not
Missiouri
even gonna let that play. That happened multiple times while they was in New York City and Chicago. Now here come California Newsom crooked ass.
So California has way more House seats than it should because they have such a high population of illegal aliens. So they get rewarded for welcoming illegal aliens in their state, giving them federal benefits, actually asking the taxpayers of states like Ohio to subsidize them. And then those same taxpayers in Ohio and Indiana and elsewhere, they have fewer congressional representatives because of what California has allowed to happen. That's ridiculously unfair. And the only real way to fight back against it is for us to redistrict in some ways as aggressively as these hard blue states have done.
All right, so we've got even more updates to bring you here on what I've been referring to as the Texas redistricting battle, and I really do believe it has become a nationwide story because of the fact that Mr. Loudmouth himself, Gavin Newsom, has spent the past several weeks doing what he does best, which is run his mouth about how if the Texas Republicans gerrymander their state, despite the fact that California and most Democrat states are already heavily gerrymandered, then we will respond by retaliating. We're going to abolish our independent commission. We're going to make sure that you can't rig the 2026 midterms. You're now getting a response to that very argument from J.D. Vance and the nationwide Republican Party and Trump administration, because this week they're essentially saying back to Gavin Newsom, okay, we're not even going to wait for you to see if you're serious about this threat to retaliate. Why not redistrict even more Republican states? Because as I've covered thus far before, when you look at the nationwide picture after the 2020 census, the simple...
And like I said, they looking at Missouri, Nebraska, Kansas to gain more seats as we speak, as I read earlier. Then they made them, I'm not even going to play that. Then they made them say that if they want their paycheck, they have to collect it in person.
Members, a quorum is not present. Some of our colleagues have fled the state in their duty. They've left the state, abandoned their posts, and turned their backs on the constituents they swore to represent.
We are under no illusion about how dangerous this could be and what risk it holds for all of us. We are doing this to save the state.
If you don't like a bill, like any other bill, there's a button on your desk to vote no.
That's what I said. Vote no.
As far as we're concerned, this special session is over.
That's what I said. Just vote no. That's it. What else you gonna do? You're gonna lose anyway. You don't have the number of people.
Well, Nicole and Doug, I've learned that House Democrats who've left Texas are now actively discussing whether to return to the state and when. And they tell me that they basically consider it a success, the fact that they've just about killed a special session.
It is time to get home and take your seats. In the meantime, DPS will continue to knock on doors, sit outside homes, and track every lead until we have the votes in these chairs. I spoke with Governor Abbott this morning, and he has made it clear. He is committed to calling us back again and again and again until our work is done.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that
This is fair legal. I love his channel.
Now, a power grab by Governor Newsom or a fight to save democracy? The battle lines are set for California's historic November special election. Democrats want voters to approve a new congressional map to wipe out GOP House districts in response to a similar move by Republicans in Texas. And KCAL political reporter Tom Wade is here. He's going to break it all down, give us some new polling on this issue.
Yeah, it's hard to believe there's already new polling out, and it's kind of a mixed bag. We'll get into it here in just a second. So this new poll, as Pat just talked about today, shows that more voters are supporting the new congressional map here in California than are against it. But the numbers also show a tough battle ahead for Democrats. More on that in just a second. Political experts say Democrats will try to make the special election a referendum on President Trump, hoping Trump's low poll numbers here in California will work in their favor. Governor Newsom hosting a Danish delegation Friday, talking tech and climate, but looming large, November's unprecedented special election over redrawing California's congressional map set into motion just 24 hours ago. A Danish reporter posing this question to Newsom.
Will you be the lead Democrat candidate to run against Trump and his supporters?
I don't know if you've been watching my Twitter feed. Doing what I can.
The epic political battle could determine...
Damn shame.
National Democrats, the national media, but it's almost the same thing, are very excited about Gavin Newsom's plan to gerrymander California, to add House seats in order to counter Texas's own gerrymander now underway. Problem is, this gerrymander was really only going to help Gavin Newsom. The entire fight is only going to help Gavin Newsom. It's not really going to help California. It's certainly not going to help Democrats nationally. The party faces a real problem, as the New York Times reports today. Between 2020 and 2024, election day to election day, Democrats lost roughly 2 million registered voters. Republicans picked up about 2.4 million registered voters. That's purely in the 30 states where people register by party. It's probably worse once you count the rest of the country. Democrats are losing voters. They can't make up for that by playing games, by shuffling here, adding here, redrawing districts to manage their diminishing resources. They've got to get people back. They're losing Latinos. They're losing young voters. They're losing across the board. It went from only Trump winning on a fluke, in a sense, in 2016 to Trump winning commandingly in 2024. And it's only going to get worse from here on out unless Democrats actually change course. But the party's base, the elite donors, they don't want to hear it. They want to believe that, Republicans are just playing tricks and we can play tricks to win back. Not so. Fact of the matter is, California is already pretty gerrymandered. In 2024, Republicans won 40% of the House vote there, yet only won about 9 House seats. That's about 17%. That's actually about what will happen in Texas under its new gerrymander. In other words, it's just catching up with California. Newsom is planning to override the state's constitution, hopefully get away with it, with the complicity of the Democrats in the legislature, in order to add perhaps 5 seats, to gerrymander the state to the roof. It's insane. More important, California voted in 2010 and 2008 for nonpartisan gerrymandering, which hasn't really been nonpartisan, but at least has the appearance. California, just before this in early August, polls showed that by 2 to 1, supporting keeping things the way they are, supporting the system that at least tries to be nonpartisan. Newsom is now floating polls that say, no, voters support me, but they're done by his own pet.
No, they don't. No, they don't support him.
For the legislature to be going along with it, except they have no ideas either, because California is falling apart under Democratic
Facts.
The state
Facts.
that's hemorrhaging people since the pandemic, especially. It's unaffordable for too many people.
Facts.
They're set to lose 5 House seats in the 2030 census. They're literally just moving the deck chairs around on the Titanic. That's not going to help anyone except maybe Gavin Newsom's hope to become the Democratic nominee in 2028.
Facts. That was all facts.
We finally have our hands on the
3 shocking reasons why nuts belong in your smoothie.
Cashews.
Cashews are not a nut. They're actually part of the poison ivy family.
No way.
Yeah, there's literature showing that they cause burns in your gut
Standard
and can actually
district.
cause skin problems.
What about walnuts?
Walnuts actually have the same fat that's in avocado. And human studies show that if you eat
What
one
is this
avocado
that's
a day,
going
you'll actually
on?
lose.
Oh my God, now you don't want to play no sound. Let me hit this one.
Crockett, the most unprofessional U.S. representative in Congress by far.
Facts.
This ghetto caricature that she and the Democratic Party made up, it's quite fascinating to watch unravel. If you look up Jasmine Crockett prior to being in Congress, entirely different person. She had a different accent. She was calm, collected, respectful, professional. Struggle that Jasmine Crockett is portraying as if she grew up in the hood, grew up on the streets. I don't see it. She grew up quite privileged, actually.
Facts.
So she attended Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School. This private prep school costs $35,000 a year to attend, mind you. She also attended Rosati Kane, an all-girls Catholic high school, which cost $14,000 a year to attend. Jasmine Crockett then went on to attend Rhodes College, a private liberal arts college costing $73,000 a year to attend. She was raised by her father, a pastor, and her mother, a stay-at-home mom. Jasmine Crockett has a law degree and she owns her own law firm. And with her net worth, she's making pretty good money. Now, these are all great things, but my point is that I don't see the struggle. I don't see the ghetto accent into play. I don't see her struggling.
Right.
This is identity politics and pandering at its finest.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel.
This is TD Media Group. I like his information.
Media Group helps circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. With the introduction out of the way,
I am politics reporter Jack Fink. Found out why during an interview you had this afternoon with the Congresswoman. Live from Dallas, give us an update on what that conversation was about today.
Well, Doug, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett accuses Republicans of intentionally drawing her home out of her district, District 30, under these newly proposed congressional maps. And as a result, she says she's now considering running in the newly drawn 33rd congressional district, where her home will be if these new maps are approved by Texas Republicans.
I'm debating about whether or not I will run where they put me, which is where I live. Yeah.
In 33.
In 33.
Congresswoman Crockett has served in the 30th congressional seat since January 2023, and her district is mostly.
I hope they get rid of her ass.
In Tarrant County. While the boundaries of her district would change, it's still considered a Democratic majority seat and will have a majority of African Americans. Here's where it gets tricky. The current 33rd congressional district is served by Democrat Mark Vesey and is in both Tarrant and Dallas counties. Under the proposed new map of the 33rd district, it would only be in Dallas County and include Congresswoman Crockett's home. Congressman Vesey lives in Tarrant County, and he would not live in this district if it's approved. This will become a Hispanic majority district and will remain a majority Democrats as well.
she's cooked.
She's cooked. Yes.
She's cooked. She's not. She's not running a Hispanic.
They not gonna vote for her.
District and winning.
She's
cooked.
She is cooked, as she
now,
should.
From what it sounds like she can still run in her district, based off what we're hearing here. Though she.
Why do so many people trust iHerb for their health and wellness products? Simple. We guarantee freshness. Buy direct from manufacturers and ship fast to your doorstep. So, fitness fanatics, stretchaholics, immunity boosters, weight shedders, light sleepers, dog mommies, mommy mommies, even the good.
Yeah, she is cooked. She is. They not gonna vote for her in the Hispanic. No, they not. They don't like us. Not for real. Oh, I do want to get rid of these. So I need to read these two. Whatchamacallit.
Want to really see something that says.
This is okay, Ricky. I like him. What is this that keeps playing?
Washington, D.C., are you ready?
Where is this coming from?
I really see something just said. Take a look what happened.
Let me do this.
We will make America proud. We make America wealthy. And yes, together, we will make America great again. Got that big old Jerry Jam. I need some of that Jerry Jam on there. The hell with you Democrats. I think all y'all will be fine.
So anyway, Texas House passes GOP drawn congressional maps. It was gonna happen with or without them anyway. The vote occurred on the heels of more than 2 week standoff with state Democrats. And they still was gonna lose. So what was the point of running away? And you still was gonna lose. And it passed. And I'm about to get rid of this article. What kind of protest was that when you still gonna lose? I would have just went on in and voted no. That's it. Stand for my district. My people don't like it. We're gonna say no. Because you're supposed to do the will of the people, not your own. What's that? Oh, 22. I'm looking for this other article so I can get rid of that. Oh, let me put this down. Shoot. 22 article. DC. California Democrats approve Newsom's redistricting plan, which been redistricted more than anybody in the nation. Gavin Newsom will ask voters to replace the state's current congressional maps with new ones. So that's supposed to go out on the ballot in November. We're giving the American people a fair chance, Newsom said, because when all things are equal, we're all playing by the same set of rules. Bitch, you ain't never played by the same set of rules. California Republicans have long acknowledged that their best chance for blocking the redistricting efforts by defeating at the ballot box. So the plan for Democrats initially included a trigger to only take an effort if another state engaged in mid-decade redistricting. So it goes on the ballot, and Republicans on the panels objected to the cost of the proposed special election. Well, y'all already in a $69 billion deficit. Add on another billion. What difference does it make? I just want to get rid of this article. All right, let's get back over here. Ah, my toe. Are you playing? What's the problem?
You see something just said, take a look at it. Defend against it if Texas is determined to do this.
So what happens next? In a statement earlier today, Wu also said in part, quote, Texas House Democrats will issue our demands for a second special session on Friday. Abbott can choose to govern for Texas families, or he can keep serving Trump and face the consequences we've unleashed nationwide. Abbott says that by
your ass out of here.
Fleeing Texas, Democrats have abandoned their duty to the people who elected them. He says the second special session will have the same exact agenda as the first, adding that he'll continue to call special session after special session until that agenda gets passed. Marcelina?
Well, if you've been following the saga of the Texas Democrats, just keeps going on and on and on without any final resolution. And one of the things that we've been keeping an eye on is the actual arrest of these Democrats that go out of state. Well, a judge just delivered a ruling that goes a long way towards figuring out if they're actually going to be arrested.
That's all I want to see here. That's all I want to see.
Me too.
Oh, that's all I want to see. I'm over here itching for it. That's all we want to see. Is a Democrat arrested? Yeah, that's all we want to see. That's all them pages really have been waiting on. Yeah.
Yep. But unfortunately, they could not get arrested.
Your average street looks like in South Dallas, where Jasmine Crockett represents. The best part about Jasmine Crockett's district is free public bathrooms. Think about it. That's where your tax dollars are going. Man, someone was having a cookout right here. See the pan and the charcoal are ready to go. Jasmine, why don't you invite us to the cookout? Look, there's the pans. And here's the rest of the cookout right here. Ooh! Ah, the ghetto! The ghetto!
This is Red Cup Talks.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks, because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. So I wanted to come on and talk about Jasmine Crockett, because Jasmine Crockett's district is just trash. And I do mean literally trash, all right? Not the people, not the constituents, not Americans, but how she treats that district. It's literally trash. She goes and talks about Republicans are this, Republicans are that, Republicans are bad. But if you see this district, you would say, where is the money? And when I say where's the money, meaning that she claims to have brought in all of this business, but none of the business is showing in this footage. Now, this footage that we're going to watch is from Benny Johnson, okay? Benny Johnson is an independent journalist, independent reporter, YouTuber, whatever you want to call him. He went down to TX30 and he exposed what Jasmine Crockett's district really looks like. Now, we're not going to watch the full video because it's about 12 minutes long, so I'll leave it in the description if you want to watch the whole thing. But I am going to point to certain things because I thought these certain points mattered, all right? And I think that Jasmine Crockett didn't realize that this was coming, all right? Now, we've covered AOC and how trash her district is, how she has young illegal immigrant girls out there in a red light district in the middle of the day. And while the migrants are just everywhere, they do everything they want to do, and they're outside of real businesses, actually taking up the sidewalk.
Facts.
And they only want the best. They're giving their constituents the best. This is not your best. Jasmine Crockett is what every other Democrat is, a liar. And this trash just proves it.
Here's what a sidewalk looks like in South Dallas. And here's what stores and shopping centers look like in South Dallas. Never seen so many down power lines in my life. It's like the broken windows theory. When you let one window get broken, you're going to let every window get broken because criminals think that they can get away with it. And Jasmine Crockett and people who represent her ideology have gotten away with destroying South Dallas. Look at this once thriving business, this once thriving area. And this is every single business that we see in the district. It's all a bombed out ruin of itself. It's a total collapsed society. What happened here? Well, it's pretty obvious. The progressive politics of Jasmine Crockett, single party rule that has decided to vote against commerce, against the free market, and against safety for the people here. It's pretty sad that kids have to grow up like this. We're hoping for better. We're hoping the kids in Jasmine's district get to grow up like her someday, right? Well, Jack.
Taxpayer dollars and resources into hunting down duly elected officials instead of, say, going after pedophiles. The fact that they have a bigger issue with those that decide that they want to make sure that they can raise an awareness and raise the voices and issues of their constituents over protecting, say, pedophiles.
Jasmine Crockett is a crocker. You know what?
Surely
because
is.
I'm telling you right now, she keeps saying
Surely
pedophiles.
is. I can't stand her.
Pedophiles are what? Because last time I checked, Bill Clinton is right on that list, on that flight log, I don't know how many times.
That's right. That's right.
And he actually had an actual picture hanging up. And I do mean a whole portrait hanging up in FC's apartment in New York. Okay?
Facts.
Not only that, he has pictures with the now deceased Virginia. Virginia, if you don't know, was Epstein's.
You telling the truth?
Was one of the trafficked Epstein girls. She has been trafficked since she was 17 years old by Jeffrey Epstein, and she's in a picture rubbing Bill Clinton's back. You gotta love it. I don't see her asking, Bill Clinton, hey, why was the 17-year-old girl rubbing your back? Were you married? No, you're not going to ask him that.
It was that we had to go on recess early versus why it is that these Texas Democrats are real heroes in this moment who are not even fighting for their own seats. This isn't even personal for them. This is about our democracy. This tells you which party is actually the party of morality, and it is absolutely the Democrat.
What are you talking about, the party of morality? You have senior citizens sitting outside under abandoned buildings. How is that morality? This woman doesn't know what she's talking about. I can't wait.
She sure don't. I can't stand her. You know what? I want to keep that on her. Here we back to California.
Developing tonight, we are now getting a much closer look at what could soon become California's new congressional maps. It's an effort by Governor Newsom to send more Democrats from the Golden State to Congress. Now, this fight all starting after Republicans in Texas said they wanted to redraw congressional districts there to help the GOP. So this is a look side by side of the state map we have now and the proposal. So over here, this is the current map, and this is the proposal. And you can see at first glance, it's kind of hard to tell the difference. They look pretty similar, but I want to show you one of the districts that are in our area. So this is District 22. We know it. Congressman Valadeo represents this district, and he has for some time now. This is the current map. So it goes from Bakersfield up to Hanford. Does not really go north of Hanford, but this map, if it gets approved by voters, you can see it encompasses a lot of western Fresno County, and it has a different shape to it. It's really stark side by side. Valadeo, as you know, he represents a district that has more registered Democrats than Republicans, but still, despite that, Valadeo has managed to keep his seat over the past few cycles. And
so that's the new map, how it's going to look. Well, we know that didn't happen, but it is in court, so I'm not going to play that.
I've done the count. You're looking at Republicans potentially adding these. History. Yeah, but it's
Co-founder Tom Bevan and RCP senior elections analyst Sean Trendies. Tom, let's start with some polls.
You know what? I'm going to end this here. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment.